Welcome to the Collective Experience by the Brwngrlz Collective, a dynamic platform where we celebrate innovation, creativity, and the power of Black excellence. Each episode, we sit down with change makers, visionary industry leaders, and groundbreaking entrepreneurs across the worlds of fashion, tech, education, business, and more. This is more than just an interview series. It is a space where stories are shared, wisdom is exchanged, and inspiration flows. Together, we are building a community that thrives on collaboration, empowerment, and the drive to uplift one another. So get ready to meet these women redefining industries and shaping the future. This is the Collective Experience, where we take center stage.
Hello and welcome to the Collective Experience by the Brwngrlz Collective, your space for inspiration and connection. I'm your host today, Shemaya Wari, and we are joined by the inspiring Jamie Watkins, a faith-based speaker, author, and coach. Jamie's mission is to help others discover their purpose and find inner peace through personal growth and spiritual wellness. Her book, My Piece of Happy, offers a guide to joy and resilience, and her workshops and coaching empower individuals to embrace their stories and align with their values. So let's dive into her journey and learn how she helps others live with intention and purpose. Welcome, Jamie.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you for welcoming me, having me back. It is a pleasure always.
Yes, you've been a guest on the Brwngrlz Experience and a part of the Brwngrlz Collective. So it is wonderful to have you back. I actually own a copy of your book personally. So it's exciting to be able to meet you and find out more about you and what you do and just the wonderful work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Before we get into that, we have started a new segment called This or That. So you'll see a wheel come up on the screen. It's going to like a randomizer. And we'll do a spin and then you tell us this or that.
Okay, pressure. Oh, no.
Makeup or no makeup?
No makeup.
I love that. Can you tell us why? Why no makeup?
I mean, I do it if I have to for a photo shoot or something, but it's just time consuming. I'd rather just save the time, and it is what it is. I mean, I'm moisturized, but you know.
Well, listen, that's the best. That's the most important part.
Sunscreen and moisturizer.
Yeah. All right, next one. That's like
yes. Okay.
Walmart or Amazon?
Hands down, Amazon, because it's just convenient, especially since the pandemic. I got really everything. Anything I can get from Walmart, I can order from Amazon and have at my door. So
right, and that's 2-day shipping.
Yeah,
can't beat that. All right, one more. We're gonna do one more.
Okay. Ooh, what is that? Or flip the bill or let them pay.
Major love to our sponsors for stepping in to make all of this happen. IAS Games for family and friend game nights. Out the Barns Entertainment for your video editing needs. Camera Guys Inc. for video photography and your editing needs. Intro music by Sedasia and music provided by Drea. Your contributions keep us going and help us grow.
This one, it depends. Me and my husband, we never 50-50, but it's sometimes I treat, sometimes he treats. If I specifically something I feel like last Sunday, I felt like breakfast. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get some breakfast. I'm not expecting him. I invited him, and then this past Friday, he's like, hey, date night, hibachi, bet. Like, okay, well, he's gonna pick it up. So yeah.
So just going with the flow, basically.
Yeah, go with the flow.
So 100, 100. We'll say that's 100, 100.
Yeah, 100, 100. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, hopefully you got all your jitters out if you had any. But
That was fun. It was easy. I didn't have any idea what this or that would be. So
yeah, they're not they're not anything too serious. So but I do want to get a little, more serious in terms of like introspective segment.
Okay.
And our question for that today in this particular series is, what's something that people might like have a misconception about when it comes to you and what you do and who you are as a person, that maybe how people perceive you, that might not be, who you are or how you perceive yourself?
I would say the happy part of my piece of happy. There is often this idea that I'm pushing this feeling or this emotion, and that happiness is fleeting. So how can you really prepare somebody or coach somebody into happiness? And so the misconception, my perspective and my twist, if you will, to the normal, this happy feeling, fleeting feeling, is that I feel like happiness is an outward expression of your inward joy. And so I am prioritizing and speaking to your purpose and what God has created for you to be, who He's created you to be. And out of that, right, you just exude happy because of the joy on the inside. And so until you kind of understand that, it can be misconceived like, okay, there's this fluff coach that's just preaching or teaching for people to be happy, which isn't really realistic.
Right. Because happiness is like a choice, really. You have to choose to be happy. I would imagine.
You decide. And two things can be true at once, right? So when I get the question like, well, you can't really be happy all the time. I can be happy and sad. I can miss someone and then find joy and happiness in the memories I have of them. Those two can be true at the same time.
Good stuff. Definitely some introspection. What about passion and identity? What inspired you to start your journey as a writer, and how does your personal story connect with what you do today, the work that you created?
Definitely my personal growth story, my identity in Christ, and then my lack thereof, my loss of who I was, and that came through a toxic relationship, just not really identifying with being lovable, worthy, all the confidence that I grew up with, lost along the way, a slow loss along the way, and then just kind of looked up and was lost. Like, how did I get here? Who am I? Who do I want to be? And so that inspired the passion behind the shift, if you will, in my life, in reclaiming my identity and who God says I am, and that I am enough and I am fearfully, wonderfully made. That then inspired this, like, how can I help women that may find themselves lost like I found myself? And to how to prioritize a lifestyle that cultivates all of the good, knowing who you are in God and all of the purpose and all of the passion, so that you don't kind of slow drift away and lose yourself, whether it's in a relationship, a job, or just unhealthy habits.
Right. Just keeping that focus and staying true to self. Because as women, it's so easy for us as women to just kind of, when you have, the kids, you have the husband or the boyfriend, you have the career, and then you just kind of like look up and like you said, you're like, how did I get here?
Right. Go into this overdrive because we can, right? We can, not that it's always healthy for us, but we can do all the things. We can be mom, be this, be that for everybody. And usually we leave out ourselves and we get into this robotic kind of multitasking mode. And then you realize, the kids leave, or you break up, or you get laid off, or something shifts or changes, or maybe it's just you roll over and come to this realization that, wait, what about who I wanted to be, or what about me, right? Because before all the kids and all the things, there's you.
Right. So you talk a lot about like your faith, and you like just, with the work, like with your book and, what you communicated in that. Do you feel like that is a part of how your business, or not necessarily your business, but your work itself sets you apart? Like, what is what makes a piece of happy different than, because there's so many, there's books out there. There's a lot of books that, people are sharing their stories and their personal development, self-help books. What sets a piece of happy, or my piece of happy apart?
I first want to say all of those stories and all of those books are probably great because I believe we can learn from everyone, that we all have a story that can help someone. So kudos to everybody that took the time and the discipline to get a book and story out there. I don't want to make it like, well, forget those. Mine is the best. Mine is good. Like I will never not 5-star a memoir, because who am I to say like your life isn't like this is a 4-star, this is a 4-star life. Like it's your life. It's your, and kudos to you for sharing it with others, right? And there's nothing I can like critique and say, well, I wish you would have did this. Like it happened. Like this is the life. This is how life lived, right? And so to that point, I want to be careful about, because I'm all about building up and growing better together. Saying, this is why mine is so different. It's probably not, because I'm sure you can learn just as much from your story if you write a book than you can from mine. But I can say if you pick up mine, that you will learn the tools and principles. It is faith-based. So the source of all things, my foundation is Christ. But it's just sharing my ups, downs, flows, and it's a conversation piece. And so what I am set apart, right? I am set apart in Christ. Aside from that, it's just we go better together. It's you reflecting on your story. Have you read the book? I know you said you had it, but have you read my book?
I didn't get to read the whole thing. I did read some
of
it.
No problem. Only I was going to say it's written in a conversation style. So you feel like, I'm talking to you, and you get to reflect on your story as well. And it is this idea of growing better together, sharing my story, not just so, hey, you can hear about my life, but you can reflect on your own. And I hope that something I learned along the way can help you on your journey, and we just continue to grow better together. And that is the foundation and motto of my business. Yeah. And that is, if anything sets me apart, is the connection, I would say, if I had to say something. And that's based on feedback, just the connection that you feel like I'm genuine, that you can feel like I see you, right? That I take the time to ask people's names and listen. And so I would say the connection, if I had to say something.
And that's the type of feeling that I've gotten just from like consuming your work. And I haven't done yet, but that's what I've gotten so far. And just how you show up online is that it's warm, and you have like this type of connection. So it's just like a level of authenticity there. So I definitely can feel that. So the other thing that I wanted to ask leading into that, because we're talking about your business, right? Like you do keynote speaking, those types of things. How does that impact your community, like the community you serve? Have you had an experience where it's like, this is making some change? I'm seeing how what I've created and put out there is coming back in a positive way.
Definitely. Definitely, from making great connections to reviews on the book, like people coming up to me and just really reiterating what my desire was, right? It was written out of obedience, but quickly into writing, I realized, okay, this is not just like write your story to be obedient and put it out there. This is to help someone else, that someone needs my experience. My pain can help somebody else. And so I get that feedback, and every review is like, wow, to me. Like it never gets old, that like, okay, this is making a difference, that your story is helping someone else and helping someone lean in and helping someone cultivate their circle, right? So reviews, when I do keynotes, that same kind of which is why I stress the connection, it's those conversations afterwards, right? That when people come up and they're like, oh my gosh, I just lost my dad, and something they relate to. And it's really about just being who you are and trusting that you're going to attract the people that are assigned to you.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned obedience. What's that story like? Like, what was that like? Walk me through that. Like, what was that like when because people talk about like being obedient to God, right? Was it a conversation, just like a feeling, like in your spirit? Like, what was that moment when you was like, okay, I got to do this thing?
Yeah, that was God showed me 3 years prior when I started my blog. And I got called up to, it was like a networking event, and just introduced myself. And the intro they gave me was, she's a motivational speaker. And I was like, no, like, I'm not a speaker. I just have a blog, I was just like, don't put that on me. And then later, God gave me this vision of, I'm speaking on this stage and I get off and like, I'm telling them like, I'm signing my book in the back. And so I was like, okay, I guess that's what I get for saying I'm not a speaker, right? I was like, okay. I just grabbed onto the book part. Because in my head, so that's what disobedience looks like, okay? I was just like, oh, I have a book in me. Like, God showed me I have a book.
Behind the scenes, there's a lot of hard work that goes into this production, and we couldn't do it without our amazing sponsors, advertisers, and crew.
And so I faithfully journaled for about 2.5 years that I am a best-selling author. Like, I just have this book in me. God showed me. I just totally disregarded the speaking thing, because all my life I've been told I talk too much. So I was very conscious of, like, I would lead conversations with, I know I probably talk too much. Like, sorry, I talk so much. Not knowing, like, it's not a curse, right? It's a gift. Right. It's what God's gifted you to do. But that hadn't come yet.
That you say that, because oftentimes the things that we are gifted will be told that they're a problem. Like, right. Oh, you always have something to say, or yeah. You're always doing something, or you know how she is, right. Like, and then
bossy instead of cultivating leadership, right?
Right. So that's interesting. I'm sorry to interject, but I thought that
was that's good. That's good, and that's what I found to be true. And so I'm mindful of that with my children, right? Like, seeing things and like, not saying like, oh, stop trying to boss people around, but like cultivating a leadership skill. Like, okay, you have charisma. Like, people are going to be attracted, to you, and to improve your leadership skills. But right. Anyway, so it was like every report card. Oh, she's a pleasure to have in class. A little too chatty, right? Like, like every consistently. But going back to connection, just to like stay on that wave for a second of the things that, we can look, or people may perceive as negative in us. I would get my seat changed back when they did that. I don't even know if they do that in school, but I would get my seat changed, and I just make friends with the person. Like, now I'm friends with this person. So now we're talking, like, because I could just connect with people. So right. Needless to say, I ended up in the hallway sometime, but fast forward to, okay, this is not something to keep downplaying or something to apologize for. This is what God has gifted you to do. And now you have some direction as life went on and, did what it did as to what you're going to be speaking on. And so the obedience comes in is fast forward 3 years. I did the coaching, got my certification, and it just didn't feel like the coaching was like, okay, I did all the things. I checked the boxes, but I don't feel like this is where you're leading me. Like, so like, it's not growing. What should I be doing? And he reminded me in my mom voice, because that's what it sounded like. Like, I hit upside the head with like, don't ask me for anything else. You're not doing what I told you. And I immediately, like, the vision came. Like, I knew exactly what it was. And I was like, okay, I signed up for a speaking academy so that I could know what I'm doing, as opposed to the excuse of like, I'm just not a speaker. Well, right. You better learn how to speak, because that's what God told you you're doing, right? And I got a writing coach, because again, for 3 years, okay, I have this book, but I'm like, I don't know how to write. I don't know, I'm doing a Moses, if you will. Like, I'm just not a writer, so I don't know. I'm going to need help, which is fine. I believe in coaching. I'm being a coach myself, right? I have a business coach. I have a coaching coach, got a writing coach, and did it in 3 weeks. And hindsight, it was just in me all along. Like, not to downplay her. She was great, because sometimes you just need that person to remind you. That's what we do as coaches, right? Of what's already there. You're not a consultant. You're not doing it for them. And so I wrote it in 3 weeks. And like I said, quickly realized it wasn't just about me, that I had sat on someone else's breakthrough because I was being disobedient.
Right. So you didn't mention like, say it again.
I said, so thus it was written out of obedience.
For sure. Well, that's awesome. I think that that's good. And, staying true. And you talked about like you use the reference of Moses, and Moses, God told him to bring Aaron. I think it was Aaron
Yes.
with him because he was concerned about speaking. So
After every excuse, though, really, like after Moses basically was like, get somebody else to do it. Like, so he was like, fine, take Aaron,
Yeah. But I mean, well, you got the coaching, the coaches, so you
yes.
He was like, no, get somebody else to do it. So it's a difference, but yeah.
But the same thing to your point. Yes, like I'm like, I don't even know where to start. It's like I got.
So legacy and impact. What impact do you hope to make in life, and how do you see your legacy inspiring other Black and brown women to pursue their dreams?
Definitely, my goal is to get the well done, right? That good and faithful servant. So kingdom impact, just to really, everything points to God for me, because I've already tried to do it without him, even without realizing that. Like if you had asked years ago, I'd say I never stopped believing in God. I've always, but truly like, okay, God, like it's not me, it's you, not my will kind of thing. Took me a while to lean into. Because I thought I had good ideas and I was a planner, and I thought that my way was just as good. Like, okay, God's just made me this good planner. That's it. No, my plans were okay and did not work out. Okay. So then it was like, oh, not my plans. I'm sorry, God. What do you want me to do? And that's where I find success. And so I would want, and I know everybody doesn't necessarily have the same faith.
Mm-hmm.
I can only speak to my journey. And so the legacy I would like to leave is that I was a kingdom builder, that I did point people to trusting God and knowing that if he's with you, like you really can do all things. Just may not be your way, it's his way, and his ways are better. That your life is like worth living. I've been at like very, very low lows, that you matter and that God does have a plan for your life. So I would hope when I'm gone, that if you didn't remember anything else, you would know like she loved God.
Right. That's beautiful. And it goes into like what you were saying earlier in terms of like just getting that story out and making sure that it's, some like that to me is that's what sets your story apart, is because it's your story, like you said earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I'll remember that answer next time because it's mine. It's
that's because it's mine. That's all it is.
Testimony, right? Like, yeah. And where you?
Yeah, so it's cool. So what are you up to now? I mean, you're speaking? Do you have any engagements, anything coming up? Like, what are your plans? Do you want to write another book? Like, what's the updates with this JB?
Yes, I do have another book that I'm looking to release in 2026, because I am right now in school for my minister licensing, and that's when I'll graduate. So I want to make sure I'm pacing myself, but have the title, have kind of where I'm going with it outline wise. The events I have coming up, I'll be speaking in Pennsylvania, which is not far from Jersey. So I'll be speaking at Keene University for Women's Wellness. One of the speakers there, that's in March. And very currently, I'm working with clients to write their books, because I am a writing coach now that I've had the experience. And one of my clients released Scars, Jessica Brwn, which is a personal journey, her journal, her stories into a journal format. And then I have a client, Annette O'Truly. She released Protected earlier this year, which is her personal story. And then I'm working with a couple right now. They have just went into publishing, and so I'm excited for them. And they're writing their story together, which was out of the box for me, working with a couple. And it's going really well. I'm happy for their story to make the impact. And that's telling their story about addiction inside of marriage, which I know is going to just be powerful for those experiencing that. And so that's where I'm at right now, just working with clients to write their stories, because like I said, it's not just mine, but everybody's testimony, everybody's story can help someone else. Everybody's not where we are. Like mine, okay, if you lost yourself, if you went through divorce, if you, there's certain things that are going to resonate with that reader, versus this couple, Jennifer and Richard Kennard, that are coming out with their book. If one of or the other spouse is struggling with addiction, right? Like that's very specific. That book will help them. So all of our stories matter and can make an impact. That's what I'm up to.
What could someone, or what can I should say, someone that is working with you as one of your clients, that they're developing their book, what can they expect? Like, what does that process look like? How do you walk them through that?
They can expect one, to get it done. That's the biggest thing, because people come to me with like Annette or Truly, for example, was like 10 years. Me, right? When I came to my coach, 3 years. Like people are like, I know that I have a story to tell. They've even got a vision, or, this has been a goal of theirs to write their book. So the biggest thing is, okay, we're going to get it done, right? Like there's no more, I can't do it. I can't write. I can't, this is to get it done. The specific clients that I'm working with now, they, told me I give you 60 days. You can choose. We could be comfortable. We'll meet, see where you're at. They said 60, they got it done in 30, because it really is the 3 things I'll tell anybody. And it's not just even, you could apply to anything, but 3 things that you're going to need to get it done that I can't give you. I can coach you through it. You'll have an outline, you'll manuscript, it'll be really easy to get done if you can. 1, you have to be committed. You have to be disciplined. 2 and 3, you have to be consistent. And that gets anything done. That's working out. That's, so commitment, discipline, and consistency, and we get it done.
Nice. So it looks like you're paying it forward, which leads me to our next segment of paying it forward. And I would love to know, what's one piece of advice or wisdom you would share with the next woman that's coming onto the Brwngrlz experience, or the collective experience, I should say, in this space. What's one question you'd love to ask her? So one piece of advice or wisdom, and one question that you would love to ask her.
One piece of advice: be you. Show up authentic. Be genuine. And there's a transparency that I would say, because people can feel it. And so whatever it is you're talking about, right? Be genuine, be authentic and transparent. And then question would be, what is your why? Why do you do what you
do? Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Miss Jamie. It was a pleasure just getting an update about what you have going on, and talking about the book, and just that journey and what that looks like. I'm excited to be able to do this interview. So I guess it's divine timing. I don't know, because I just really find you to be an interesting person, and just the light that you already put out from what I've experienced. So it's been a pleasure. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Until next time, Brwngrlz.
Thank you to our advertisers, sponsors, and everyone who made it possible. And of course, thank you for tuning in and being part of the Brwngrlz family. See you next time.
Oh girl, I love you just like Mary Jane. I give you everything. Damn, I hope you feel the same. Come and make it better just like Mary Jane. Oh girl, I can't complain. I need your touch, can't get enough. Come and beat me up, it's just like Mary Jane. Beat me up from the middle of the club. You say you running low again, won't let me fill your cup. I got some papers in my section and some fonts in the tuck. She been calling me Split Daddy, baby. Please don't gas me up. You can keep your mask, I don't want time with that. Tryna know your heart by the time we start, baby. Ain't no hiding facts. Maybe if you with it, we can start a tab. Break down them walls, you can let me in. I can be your quarterback. Come on, put our team right on the map. Oh girl, I love you just like Mary Jane.